Children's songs were a part of all of our lives when we were young. They were either sang to us or we sang them ourselves. But many of those songs that we sang out of fun actually originated out of dark and disturbing pasts. Here are 10 terrifying origin stories behind popular children's songs. Number 10 is Frère Jacques. Frère Jacques is an easy song for young children to learn, about checking in on Brother John's sleeping habits and reminding him that it is now morning. However, this 17th century song, originally sung by French Catholics, would be perfectly fine if it wasn't based entirely in bigotry and discrimination. Its origins trace back to when Catholics would walk through Jewish neighborhoods, taunting its residents on their way to Mass on Sundays when morning bells are ringing. The true meaning of the song actually suggests that Jewish people are a lazy and sacrilegious group who lay in bed on Sundays. A song based in prejudice that is still sung openly by children to this day, and they don't even know it. Number 9 is Rockabye Baby. Rockabye Baby is a song about a crook of a tree during a windstorm where a newborn baby is placed. However, it's not as innocent a song as you might think. King James II of the House of Stuart, who ruled England for 4 short tumultuous years from 1685 to 1688, battled for supremacy with the English Parliament and lost, losing his crown along with it. James was the last Roman Catholic monarch of the British Isles, who desperately tried to create a male heir with his wife Mary of Modena. However, after many failed attempts, they ended up smuggling a baby boy into the birthing room and claimed it was theirs. The wind blowing is said to be the influence of Protestantism from the Netherlands, and the tree metaphor itself describes James II's precarious position as an overly ambitious person who climbed too high and fell down hard. This song is literally about stealing a newborn baby. Number 8 is Sing a Song of Sixpence. The lyrics to Sing a Song of Sixpence are pure madness if you actually listen to them, almost as if a mad court jester himself wrote the lyrics. The modern version of this song often adds a stanza with a happy ending where the maid gets her nose back, but the original song is sinister in addition to being insane. The first known printed version of the song was found in Tommy Thumb's Children's Songbook, published in 1744, and has the pie stuffed with naughty boys. The song was also sung in ports as a code to recruit new crew for pirate ships, most famously Blackbeard, who paid a generous 6pence daily to his blackbirds. Disturbingly, these thieves and rapists would hide below the deck until they took ships by surprise and would literally and savagely cut off noses. Hence the lyrics of the song, "Along came a blackbird and snipped off her nose." Number 7 is Ring Around the Rosie. The true meaning of Ring Around the Rosie was actually to keep kids who lived during the Dark Ages compliant with horrifying songs of death and pestilence. Ring Around the Rosie is not a song about rosy-cheeked cherubs holding hands and frolicking in a circle, but instead is in fact about a plague called the Black Death that decimated 1/3 of Europe's population from 1347 to 1350, as well as the Great Plague of 1665, which killed approximately 100,000 in Great Britain. Ring Around the Rosie refers to rash marks on the skin, an early indicator of infection. A pocket full of posies was a superstitious way in the Middle Ages to ward off plagues with flowers in your pockets. Ashes to ashes refers to cremation, as well as the last rites given by a priest, and dust to dust we all fall down. Well, you can probably figure out the rest for yourself. Number 6 is Jimmy Crack Corn. You may have wondered just who this Jimmy fellow is, and why does he not care about cracking corn? Well, disturbingly, this seemingly innocent and simplistic children's song has its roots in the antebellum South during the dark days of slavery. The song was originally called Blue Tail Fly and was sung by the Virginia minstrels, racist white men in blackface mocking the recently emancipated slaves. The true meaning of the song is about an unhappy slave whose job was to swat flies away from his master riding on horseback until one of those flies bites the horse, causing it to buck, knocking the master off, who cracks his head open and dies. Jimmy Crack used to be Jim Crack, which was a cheap corn whiskey that this slave supposedly kicked back and drank while celebrating his master's death. Number 5 is RubaDubDub. This children's rhyme has different versions, but all are salacious, even by today's standards. The original 14th century version of the rhyme actually sings about 3 maids in a tub and referred to a peep show that was part of the adults-only section of traveling fairs. The true meaning of the song is to actually implicate 3 respectable craftsmen, all pillars of their community, going to the strip club. Later versions of the rhyme put those same peeping toms in the tub together, with the lyrics, 3 men in a tub, turned them out, knaves all 3. This lyric seems to indicate some sort of homosexual 3-way, something that was demonized at the time. The rhyme was later sanitized by the Victorians, but there are many who know the true origins of this children's story. Number 4 is Big Rock, Candy Mountain. This children's song about a glorious kid version of paradise where the sun shines every day and is filled with lemonade springs and peppermint trees is, in reality, a warning to children about hobos. These are all false promises made by hobo gangs to kids as they recruit them to beg and busk for food and money on their behalf. And what's worse is that they would even occasionally pimp out these children. Songwriter Harry McClintock recorded the much cleaned up, censor-friendly version in 1928 that became an instant classic, but there has been a much more sinister version around since 1898, warning the dangers of life on the street, that included the line, "But I ain't seen any candy." The McClintock version is best known today as comical, but the true origins of this song are a terrifying cautionary tale. Number 3 is There Was an Old Woman Who Lived in a Shoe. This sweet-sounding song actually shames single mothers, indicating destitution is around the corner where you can't even feed your kids bread. The song has come a long way from the first printed version, found in Grammar Girton's Garland, published in 1794, that ends with "She whipped all their bums," to today's version, which says "kissed all of them soundly." However, child abuse is just the beginning, because in Infant Institutes, published in 1797, the old woman goes coffin shopping, either for the kids or herself. The true meaning of this song has roots in pain and death to children. Number 2 is Here We Go Round the Mulberry Bush. The lyrics to Here We Go Round the Mulberry Bush seem like a perfectly good way to ingrain good manners, hygiene, and obedience in children. But the song was actually first sung by female prisoners, whose children lived with them in Her Majesty's Wakefield Prison in West Yorkshire, England, that was opened in 1594. The prison had mulberry bush in the yard that women walked around for exercise while they sang to their kids. This is the way we bale the hay and paint the fence were chores that the prisoners' kids were expected to perform, or else they were beaten by the prison guards. The hygiene lyrics like wash the face were ways that the kids could protect themselves from typhoid and cholera in these overcrowded, horrendous conditions. And number 1 is London Bridge is Falling Down. Despite London Bridge is Falling Down's lyrics about shoddy construction and engineering, the song's mid-18th century origins are much darker. The first time London Bridge fell down was in the early 11th century when the Vikings, led by Olaf II of Norway, invaded England and burned down the bridge. A more likely source of the song involves immurement, the superstitious process of entombing someone within a structure to make it more sound. The entombed was typically a child, who became the eternal watchman of church and castles all over Europe. In one particular case, a child's skeleton was discovered after the demolition of Bridgegate in Bremen, Germany. Today, children unknowingly roleplay immurement during the London Bridge game, bringing down their clasped hands and trapping the last kid who runs underneath. So, those were 10 terrifying origin stories behind popular children's songs. But if you enjoyed this, remember to give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell beside the subscribe button to enable notifications so that you never miss a thing, because I release new videos all the time. Thank you for watching. Sweet dreams.